In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in black and white emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we are coloring conversations on the canvas of America. Tonight, for our second part of our Juneteenth special, we have Councilman Maurice Hairston with us. Let me tell you guys a little bit about Councilman Hairston. 4 years ago, I ran and became a city councilman in Glenarden because of my love for the city and the people. Growing up and living in Glenarden for 20 plus years, I have helped the city improve in many ways. I believe that peace, unity, love, and community are interconnected ideals that foster understanding, compassion, and shared well-being, creating spaces where individuals can thrive and contribute to a better world. To achieve this goal, I am constantly thinking of ways of bringing the community together, such as Thanksgiving luncheon, cancer awareness events, co-chair of Glenarden Day Committee, City's Expungement Fair, co-chair of Black History Month event, education, motivational event, and peace efforts to stop violence. Prior to getting on the city council, I served on the youth advisory committee and the events planning committee, the youth in the community. I have sponsored or co-sponsored numerous pieces of legislation to improve the quality of life for our citizens. Legislation such as tax rebate, federal workers relief grant program. I am also a boxer, musician, and personal trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring to the show Councilman Maurice Hairston. Hello, sir. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? That was a great introduction, man. That was me.
Oh, well,
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. I said, how you doing? I said that was a great introduction.
Oh, well, thank you so very
much. I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your bio before we get into the show?
I actually feel like you nailed it at everything. That was like great homework. Like you took it all. You got all of it. That was a great introduction.
Yes, sir. Well, before we hop into the show, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're here.
Able to hear me, or am I clipping on your end?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It's like it's giving a little delay. Yeah, it's kind of like a little delay.
Okay. I just wanted to say that as we're doing this part 2 of the Juneteenth special, and in thinking about Juneteenth and what it means to people that look like you and I, what are some of the things that when you think of Juneteenth, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth is a day for us to celebrate this being free. It's freedom at its most high. Just a day for us to feel like celebrated, feeling like we have opportunities, that doors is open for us, and we can just be at peace and be free. it's a very loving day. I see like a lot of people take a lot of pride into that day.
Yes, sir. And so, so as we hop into this, I just wanted to, as we're doing this show tonight, and just doing a comparison contrast of where we are now as to Juneteenth and, the work that you do. And because I think it's going to be very important for the audience that's watching tonight to understand exactly where we've been, where we are, but also where we're going.
Okay.
So
yeah, so it's yeah.
Go ahead.
Now go ahead. Now go ahead. You can go ahead. And remember, this had a little small pitch, so I'm just a little bit behind you. That's all.
Okay. So what are the top 3 priorities you set for your new term, and how did they directly impact the families of your district?
For my new term, we actually kind of just came in Monday. So the first thing I do is I hit the ground running. So just coming in on the 16th, actually, like is when I got sworn for my next term. Right now, and I'm planning a Glenarden Day event, and I'm also coming in from Glenarden Day, rolling into my breast cancer awareness event, and then after that, I'm running into my Thanksgiving event. So those are my next 3 events that's lined up. Glenarden Day is pretty much a community day, for all citizens. So we can all just come together. We got rides and entertainment, and it's like a family fun event. So that will keep togetherness. Like my whole motto and everything for real. So I'm just about coming together all the time. So most of my events always involve coming together, giving you some type of awareness, or like even from a musician standpoint, I'm adding social redeeming value to my content as far as the musician goes. And then for the breast cancer awareness, my mother is actually a breast cancer survivor. And it came back on her, then she survived again. She's still here with us today. So that's a blessing. So what encouraged me to do that is that I know that in our community, like a lot of people were starting to suffer from cancers, from that situation. So what I wanted to do was bring in some people that can give awareness about that and give people a platform where they can speak, feel heard, and feel supported and appreciated. And then with my Thanksgiving event, it's like, I'm trying to bring back that old school family feel when like you go to your grandmother's house and have Thanksgiving. So the idea of mine was to just bring the community together, sit everybody down together and make them eat together. So we'll put the football game on the wall for the fellas, and we have a nice dinner as one, and we all pray together, and then we'll just sit down and we have a nice dinner as a community. So that's a ticketed event, of course, because we can't bring everybody in, but we can get as many people as we can. So those are my 3 priorities coming forward right now.
Oh wow.
And I'm on recess for 2 months. I'm on recess for 2 months.
Okay, well, see, but that's actually pretty good, because that in itself, it sounds and it brings the feel of family and community together, and I think it's that togetherness that makes it that much special. So everybody still knows everybody, and it's just a fun-filled day.
Absolutely, totally agree.
So how do you measure the trust and transparency in your relationship with your constituents?
Woo, that part, right? Just by always being, with constituents, I'm gonna tell you, man, like they hit the ceiling sometimes about certain stuff, man. You got to raise those taxes, anything like that happen, boy, it'd be a hole in the street, trash on the street. Like they will hit the ceiling on you. So what I like about our governing like body, like how we run our meetings and things that we have a section. Our first meeting is a work session. So what we do is we come in and let people know everything that our constituents per se know, everything we got running. And then our second meeting will be a public hearing. And then our last meeting will be a regular meeting. So in that middle meeting, that public hearing part is when our constituents is able to come out and then voice all of their concerns. We're basically speaking on the legislation that's at hand, but we also give them an opportunity to speak on, their concerns. So I would say, like, man, the best thing is this: keeping the transparency is just always being honest and always being a person that's always there to help, because most people, they're not going to come to you if they can't feel you can help them. Like, it's like you at the grocery store. If you going through a problem at the cash register, you like, where's your manager, right? Because you feel unassisted. So you know. So it's like always having that line of just always making sure that you there to assist and you there to add value, and the constituents normally lean on you when they know that you can help them get results. And a lot of people just want to be heard. They want that soft ear that can just listen and not try to tell them what to do, but actually feel where they're coming from and then act on it to the best of our ability. Because we can't fix everything. Like some issues, I will tell you, like they're not our issues, right? It may be county issues. It may be another issue that we can't handle, but just with them knowing that they can come to you and you will at least try to point them in the right direction, they really appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to be a city councilman. What inspired you? What motivated you to want to pull the community together?
So I always tell everybody this story. Like, I never wanted to be a city councilman. Like, this never was my goal. I actually started as a musician, and guys in my community, they was having issues, and I happened to see that I was a bridge. And for me to the town, that basically the town hall, and this is an area that I'm from, this is Glenarden. So I reached out to the town hall and asked them if they needed any help, you know, saying as though I had influence, like, you know, God going to show you something and you got to act on it. So I seen that I had influence. I asked them if it's anything I can help them with. And from there, they put me on something called the Youth Advisory Committee, because like we have committees there too that you can serve on. So I got on the Youth Advisory Committee, and from there, I transitioned to be the vice president of that committee. And it was a councilwoman at the time, and we had to basically have a back and forth with them about something at a meeting. And, you know, with me always wanting to just like close the gaps of communication, I just went up to the council members that was there at the time and asked if I can help, or, you know, asked them what was going on. And they actually called me and they put me on something called the Glenarden Day Committee. And I was on there providing all of the entertainment, and I was actually the headline artist for that. So that's crazy, right? I was on the stage performing for the community. Like, that was my thing. So I was on there just doing rap music every year for them. And then I was also volunteering to help and bringing volunteers in. And I started doing that, I believe, 2000 and maybe 18. And then one of the councilmen at the time, his name is you know, Councilman James Anthony Herron. He was like, hey, well, you ever thought about running for council? I was like, nah, I don't even know what that is. Like, I didn't know anything about any of it. And he was like, well, I can show you the way, you know, just let me know. And I was like, nah, I'm not too sure. So it took me a while. I hesitated a bit. And then I was like, all right, I'll try this out. And then my first election, I beat an incumbent. So I ended up getting in. I won by a nice little margin.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So are there higher aspirations as far as public official?
Well, when I first got on, so this kind of secret, I feel like I want to tell you this offline, because I don't want everybody to know, because if somebody going to try to pick up my motion, they're going to try to swim with my motion. But what I would say that, you know, unifying is my thing mainly. I'm just trying to figure out how we can establish more lines of love, peace, wisdom, understanding, togetherness. And I'm trying to figure out how I can merge that everywhere I go. Like, I tell people sometimes, like, the only thing that's missing from a room is yourself. And if you notice, in some environments, you'll walk in and the environments are already like down, like this, like the energy, the frequencies is already low. So sometimes I feel as though like I've neglected my own purpose by knowing that I can come into this room and I don't have to exist like that. Like, you ever been in a room and you see it so low, you look around and then you just get quiet like this. You just be like, oh, okay, I'm just here, right? Like, so now it's like I'm taking the different stance that now when I come in rooms, it's like I'm coming in with electric, like I am, because I feel like what I am is missing. But I'm actually just letting God steer my ship. But I want to take my demonstration all around the world and see how I can improve through the children, through the youth that's being neglected, through the seniors. I wanted to just be that middle bracket, because I'm kind of a middle-aged man where I can still reach the youth, but I can also reach over here and grab the seniors and then help us meet in the middle as one.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I know that was a long description. I'm sorry.
But no, actually, you know, that's really perfect, because, you know, I think when you think about, I'll put it to you like this, like old school, new school, which is how I consider myself, right? Because I'm a generation gap baby. I'm right there, 1966, old school, new school. So it's all relevant to me, right? So if it's all relevant to me, then just as you're saying, you know, to bring them all together, and let's do the thing. That's what it's all about. So somebody has to do that. And if you've got that energy, then I think definitely you should be that person that people need to know who you are. And I'm sure that the audience tonight, as well as your constituents that are watching this, are going to know that they can count on you, Councilman Hairston, as you're doing your job, especially since you've been reelected for a second term. So, what systems have you implemented to ensure marginalized voices?
I'm waiting for it to catch up. Say your last line.
Yes. So, what systems have you implemented to ensure marginalized voices are heard in your district? Can you hear me? Can you hear
I'm
me?
not catching no. I wasn't catching no sound.
Oh man. Hold on one second.
Okay.
You can hear me now?
I heard you say, hold on one second. Can you hear me now? Say something else.
Okay. What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound better now. Absolutely.
Okay. What systems have you implemented to ensure marginalized voices are heard in your district?
Whew, what systems did I put in place? Well, we like an 80% Black community. So we always heard. They gonna tear the town up if they don't get heard out there. But systems per se, systems in place. Um, I, I do that more through through, through, through lyrics, like through issues that they do have. Wow. I've created events for the youth. I know for sure where we have like talent shows that come through, and we letting the youth in our community have like an opportunity to express themselves through their content on the stages that we have. So we bring a lot of acts and a lot of talent in that I know that they're able to use their emotions and their heart and the things that they've been through and transfer that through our sound systems and waves in our community, as well as giving just so many other people opportunities to be able to feed their family, and also for their skill set and their talent to be shown with most of the events that we do have in the community.
So, could you share a moment during your tenure that truly transformed how you lead? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, man. Councilman. Councilman. There you go.
All right, it clipped out. I had to switch to a different device. How's this?
Okay, yes, yes. Yeah,
All
so
right.
the other one, you want to log that one? There we go.
Yeah, I clicked that one out. There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No, no problem. No problem at all.
Could you share a moment during your tenure that truly transformed how you lead?
Mm, that's actually a good question. You got some great questions down there. Um, Run it by me again. A moment in my career that changed, in my tenure, that changed the way that I lead.
Transformed how you lead.
Um, whew, that's actually a really good question. Um, I would probably say in my first year, because I was just really getting acclimated with the whole thing. So I would
Mhm.
say, just when you realize that you actually have a voice, because when you first step in, you don't know how powerful your voice is. So when I started to see that people started to gravitate towards my ideas, it probably would be my first event. And they started to gravitate towards my ideas and the things that I, add and the value that I add to the community. I would say probably that's the time that I really realized that I had some juice was probably one of those moments. Like,
But I think then this is just me thinking out loud, and maybe you can tell me if this is right or not. But it seems like with you being a creative, like you are, being a musician, that
mhm.
those things are just naturally generated towards people. That your vibe and your flow is just one that's automatically captivating and captures the attention of people and your constituents. And so wouldn't that like kind of like be like natural leadership that you have already?
So yeah, you would have natural leadership, but I think in community you still got to build trust, right? Because most
Mhm,
community, and definitely when you're dealing with African American folks, like we're hurt. So,
mhm,
like it's like meeting anybody outside, you got to kind of, yeah, they may have a natural zeal to you, but then at the end of the day, I still feel like you got some proving to do. You know what I mean? So
right.
I feel like, yes, I feel like I have a natural glow, and I have heard that I have a natural pull and a natural zeal and a natural glow that people gravitate towards. But then it's like they still need to see that act for them to really say, like, all right, cool, you got it. You the one. Like,
Mhm,
you can really do this. You can help us. You can lead. And I think with me consistently this, being active and just always popping up having events and popping up having things that I can show the community coming together, and some of the legislation that I had voted on and things that had got passed that would help the people in the community. I think those are the things where they started to say, like, okay, cool, we can have some type of trust in them. And I think one of my key like ingredients is just always remaining calm and having peace and having a bright smile and moving in love. I feel like that's really my superpower, is that people can see that I'm just really peaceful and wholesome. Like, I
mhm.
think that's really what makes me shine and benefit in my community, is they know that my intentions are well.
Mm. So, like, what is some of the legislation that you got passed?
Man, let's see, man. We did a lot. We did a tax rebate, so we got some money back. You know, everybody loves some money. So, we got that done. We got an intergenerational fund that we got done. We passed things to improve the streets. People having potholes, and we got sidewalk programs to make sure that they comply with people that's in wheelchairs and stuff like that. We have a lot of things that's happened at this benefit. That's just a few, but it's a lot of things. Everything that we do for sure is, and I know for me and Councilman Herring as well, that I work with a lot on a lot of stuff that we do. Like everything we do definitely benefits the people in our community because it's always thinking about the people mainly. That's the main focus and the goal because that's why we here.
Wow. That and I like that, especially when you've got somebody that's working with you in conjunction with this legislation to help to build the community and to make it a whole lot better. The improvements. I think that's really cool. Is that the way that most council people work, or did you guys just realize that this is how you guys should do this in order to make your communities and districts that much better?
I can't say that most councilmen do it. I don't know what they do in a lot of different places, but in our place, I would say in Glenarden, we try to come together as much as we can to be on the same accord to do right. I mean, it's like a family though. We don't get everything right. Like we argue a lot. Some things we don't always agree with. But I can say for the most part, within the 4 years that I've been there, like we definitely brought things to the community that improved the quality of life. Like it was nothing really that took away really from any of the citizens. We always giving things back. We always looking out. We always finding ways that we can help out.
Wow.
Always.
So, what have been the biggest challenges in bridging generational divides in your district?
Mm, I would say I would say with the youngsters, like sometimes they don't want to understand the senior standpoint, and I would say with the seniors is getting them to understand that the flow is changing a bit.
Mhm.
So if finding a way to make them meet in the middle. So I feel like finding a way to make them meet in the middle would be again like I could say an event, right? Let's just use an event. We can lose Glenarden Day, right? So what
Mhm.
we would do is we would mix the stage up. You have your young acts come out, and then you will have your old school acts come out, or you will have the games there. You will have some for the seniors, you will have some for the youth. But I think continuously putting them in the same environment together will teach them how to coexist in those environments. But if you keep them apart, then they're going to stay apart. But if you constantly coming up with ideas and coming up with things to bring them in the same rooms together, then they'll continuously start to grow together. Because can't nothing grow if it's not together. You got to keep
That's
things
true.
together. Anything that separates will grow apart. Anything that comes together can grow together.
That's 500% true right there. That's
Yeah.
what I think. You know what you need to what they call it. You need to put that on the billboard
Billboard. Yeah,
because
I'm gonna forget it after the day, but but I try. We gonna forget it.
that is about as logical and as sensical as it can get.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know, just too much individualism, but some people still you gotta maybe drag them and make them do it.
Yeah, for sure. You
Um,
gotta. That's called leadership, though. You gotta lead the people to where they need to be. Sometimes everybody can't always decide on their own. Sometimes you gotta grab them up and show them the way.
yeah.
Mm.
So, how do you balance policy work with the real lived experiences of the people you serve?
I don't really feel like I balance. I just try to keep it all real from the get go. I don't feel like I try to find a great balance in that or divide in that. I try to make sure that I'm as much so like the people as possible. Like even though I sit on a dais and I got a tie on, doesn't mean that I'm any different from anyone on the ground. So I try to make sure that all of the concerns that the people on the ground have is concerns that I have. I try to walk amongst the people like I am them, because I
Mhm.
am them. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I always like it's good that no matter if you legislate, it's always good to keep a sense of understanding that once you were the people that's outside that's sitting in here talking to who you are. So
Mhm.
when you get great responsibility, I think that you should be responsible for that great responsibility. And that's always remembering where you come from and staying
Right.
grounded and centered.
Oh wow. In what ways has your understanding of community evolved since your first election?
My understanding of the community evolved. I would say more so on the legislative side, it evolved. As far as community go, it's just people. I feel like I've always had a good sense of understanding when it comes to people, right? But as far as this, the protocols and the rules and how like your town is actually ran, I feel as though like that's the things that I had to really get brushed up on, because I feel like I came in with all heart, but some of the knowledge in here for this policy work, like you said, or this knowing how to legislate properly or knowing the rules, I feel like those things that I had to, kind of catch over time.
Mhm. How do you collaborate with grassroots organizers, educators, or faith leaders in your neighborhood?
You said, how do we collaborate with them?
How do you collaborate with them?
Grassroots organizers. Say the list again. I'm sorry.
Grassroots organizers,
Mhm.
educators, or faith leaders?
How do we collaborate with those? Really, I would think that'd be an event side. I mean, because mainly when we bring in a lot of people, other than that, we run in the town, the way the town needs to be ran. But as far as this collaboration goes, I feel like depending on the style of event we have, that'll determine what type of collaborator we actually bring in, right?
Mhm.
So, like, say if you grassroots, I'm assuming you're seeing, so you speaking of like seniors, right? Like people that's been there, ground from the ground up, right?
Well, I
That's
mean, they're probably more so in tune with grassroots than probably the younger generation. But but let's say like when you're campaigning, when
mm,
you're on the ground and you're walking to them doors, that's
mm,
grassroots. When
mm,
you're able to walk that whole entire district, you did that whole thing grassroots. And
mm,
so all the people that was with you, whether
mm,
they were faith-based organizations, whether
mm,
they was just folks that were like just community organizers or educators.
mm,
So they're all doing the same thing. They see what you're doing, so they're picking up off your feet.
right.
So have you collaborated with them in any of those ways to get them together in some shape, form, or fashion?
Um, I wouldn't say like bringing them all together in one space per se, but like I would say, like if we have an event that calls for a person from a different style of organization, then we'll bring them in. And as far as like people in educational spaces, I know I go to schools and speak. So
Mhm.
I feel like you will get required to come out of your space sometimes to go into other spaces and give life and to give some education. But other than coming in, like we work with like different people as far as like if I'm doing my breast cancer awareness event or something like that, then we'll work with different organizations and bring people in from different organizations to make the events that we have in this like tailored to what's being done to be a success. Um, if I'm answering your question appropriately, I'm not sure if I'm answering exactly
No,
what.
you're fine, and I'm getting the understanding that
Mm,
as you're going through and you're evolving into the work that you're doing, that
mm,
it's just like it's just like anything else. It's just like any other form of work. And so, just over a period of time, I guess as it's going, it's just going to only just gradually get higher and higher and higher
yeah.
because it seems like you've already got control and an idea as to how you want to move and shake in this position. So I don't see you coming out of that position no time soon.
I mean, I got 4 years, but I think that I'm gonna probably hang it up after these four. As far as like this being a city councilman on this side, I have
Um,
other like I got other aspirations and dreams. Like I consider myself to be very much so a revolutionary. So
mhm,
um, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any more years after these four, but
mhm,
I do know that I have a lot of things that I want to do, that I want to move around worldwide. Like I just don't want to like become stuck in a particular just town or just in a box. Like I
mhm,
want to start to merge out and go around the whole world, start to touch out the countries, different states and stuff like that. So I have like a mastermind agenda, and with God, I'm gonna be able to touch these places as he see fit. But it's gonna take some time. But I think that he set me here for another 4 years to just probably just build the confidence, to connect with the community a little more, to, pick up on the things that I may have left behind as far as education and things that I can learn. And also, the community obviously wanted me there again for another 4. So, blessings to that. Um, but yeah, after these 4, I'm gonna go in and drive
well, we'll definitely have to talk about that.
for sure. Yeah.
Which community initiative are you most proud of and why?
Mm. I would say my initiative I'm most proud of is when a lot of guys in my neighborhood was just, conducting a lot of violence, being able to like construct peace for, I don't know, I think that was about a year or two. Like we had like a good little peace thing going. I was able to put together a bunch of guys from a bunch of different neighborhoods from where I'm from and put them together and put us all on one stage and go around DC and go around the areas of the DMV area doing performances and shows and being able to keep peace in the community for those time stamps. So that's one of my most proud initiatives, really, I would say. It's just that peace treaty.
So, how do you keep hope alive in a district that may feel weary or delusioned by politics?
Hmm. I would say keeping hope alive for me in area like that is just constantly giving them something that's really alive.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a hope is one of those feelings where you feel like it's something coming on the other side. So keeping them more close to life instead of keeping them more close to death and something when it comes to politics. Sometimes when you politic driven, you feel unconnected. I would say my thing is about making sure that people always stay connected. People always feel like it's something that's charging them up and not nothing that's just draining them and taking them away. So politics can be draining. It can be a long process. Some people talk too much. Some people say a bunch of stuff that don't mean anything. I mean, people talk so proper and they, you know what I'm saying? They tie you up and you feel unheard and unseen. So me, I'm just honestly always want to be a lifeline to the people. I always want to make sure that people feel alive, that their feelings and their blood and their heart is able to pump and flow. So I want to keep people around something as authentic as possible.
Mm. Man, I tell you, the people that's in your age group, I tell you,
Oh yeah.
they should be all behind you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. I need you to say that loud, like loud, so people can
They
hear that and
should
actually
be.
with that.
They should be because
Thank you, man.
they say that some of these situations or people come along in a generational cycle. But
Uh,
I'm just gonna say that I know that as time goes on and you're doing the work that you're doing, that you're
mm,
definitely gonna make some impact. I can tell you that right now. You're gonna make some impact,
thank you,
and that's
thank you.
that's a promise. But and I'll tell you, we're gonna be here to make sure that that happens, though, because
For-
it's like especially like for times like now. It's
mm,
like people need to have this kind of leadership that you're doing in your community, in your district, because if
mm.
those people have no hope, then it's just all fail. But
Yeah, for
you are not
sure.
going to let that happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it's from your mouth to the true God is that we're able to make that impact that we want to see happen. Yeah, for sure. And thank you for that. I really appreciate that because being in a leadership position, sometimes you feel very drained and you don't get charged up a lot. Like you don't get plugged up a lot sometimes because you always such a giver of yourself. Like you always looking out for people. You always trying to make sure something's going right. So sometimes just having those affirmations is enough to keep, even, the greatest leaders going. So I really appreciate, getting that affirmation from you on
Yes,
that.
sir.
And I'm definitely gonna make an impact. Like I tell people sometimes, like I don't really want a lot from this world. I just want to serve God and this that. Like I just want to make sure that I'm doing whatever He has me here to do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we're going to transition over into leadership in the shadow of Juneteenth.
All right.
And Juneteenth commemorates a delayed liberation. How do you view your role in ending modern delays in justice and access?
Mm, you ask passionate questions. Yo, like you ask really good questions. This is one of my greatest interviews or whatever because you definitely challenging my way of thinking. So I really appreciate that too. I would say for myself is this one thing that I want to do is I want to put the youth in situations and put the youth in positions that I haven't saw for myself. So it's a lot of things like coming up that I felt like I was neglected of. It was a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding that I feel like that I didn't have. So I'm trying to basically give people like a head start. Like if you're 13, I'm trying to catch you with the information you should know when you're 25. Just trying to save them some years of having to learn the hard way, you know, when they're much, much, much older. And at the same time, trying to just influence, you know, the people that's around my same age range to give them game and understanding, so you know we can all heal as a community. I feel like one part and one issue right now, and it's like us just healing as people. So that delayed liberation, I would say, like right now, and I'm just trying to catch people now because the world is getting worse. Things are getting worse. Things are getting more crazy and more crazy and more crazy and more crazy. So my stance right now is to let people know that it's cool to do other things. It's cool to move in love. It's cool to move in peace. It's cool to have something on your mind, right? It's cool to not follow that rapper or that entertainer. Like it's cool to just be who you are. It's cool to, you know, I'm just trying to catch them. And it's harder now too, man, really, to be honest with you, because it's so many other things that they can access much quicker than you, right? They phones like right here, you know what I mean? One click, boom, like you could have been talking to a kid, he can put that phone up, or you could be talking to a person that doesn't always have to be a child. And the minute that they pick up that phone, they can get influenced 5 times in
Yep.
5 seconds to something that's totally different from
Yep.
you. So one thing that I'm just trying to catch them first. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to catch them first. I'm trying to be intentional with everything that I'm doing. I'm trying to catch them first. So I'm working on documentaries to give them stuff. I'm working on music to give them stuff. I'm working on things in the community to give them stuff. I'm working on events. Like I'm always trying to make myself, I'm only one man, but I'm trying to spread myself as thin as possible to everybody so I can try to catch them all. And then I'm also trying to build a team of people that can walk with me, which is the hardest thing to do too now because everybody don't do anything. So like, I mean, they just don't do nothing, man. Nobody, it's like the passion is left, right? Like people are only settling for this mere glimpses of themselves. Like it's like they don't care about being the highest version of themselves. It's like a lot of people, and it's no disrespect to anybody, and I'm not saying anything about people that need to heal or need to get through things or need to get through processes, right? But we can't use them as excuses to just stay just small when there's other people around us that need us. Like we're very, very influential. Like no matter how small your life form may feel to you inside, you still may be influential to somebody is always watching just you. For every one person, it's at least one person watching that one
Yep.
person. So sometimes you have to come out of your own state of mind and your own feelings and your own heart to think like, you know, I just need to be an example for just you. And sometimes that one person is enough because that one person can save 500
Yep.
people. So I'm just trying to catch them sooner, man. Just get to them
So,
sooner.
you know, I got a follow up for that because, you know, that right there was like the whole entire rainbow that you just covered. And I use the rainbow as an
Uh-huh.
example because, you know, they're big. And so when you
Mhm.
just think about that, um, can you tell me like how in the midst of of this task that you just spoke of, how major does education play in that? Because I think that's the X factor.
I feel like education play a big part. I mean, knowledge is power, right? But the right knowledge, you know what I mean? So when we speak on education, I think like people look at education, but it's like what you've been educated by, right? Because education is a broad word to me because you can be educated
Right.
by anything. If all you know is the guy outside that's distributing drugs, he can be educating you on how to distribute drugs. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Education is a super huge word. So I feel like knowledge is more so power. Like, even they tell you in school, like they be like, knowledge is power. They never say education is power. I don't know if I ever heard that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But knowledge is something
Yeah.
different. That's what something within spirit. That's something that's within self that you have to dig deep and go
Mhm.
find. So I feel like knowledge is really what's important. Like being, because when you find knowledge, you find something great. When you find education, you find something that everybody
Mhm.
can find. But knowledge is something that you can find that can plateau you, yourself, your spirit, and your individual, like you as an individual to a whole nother level of existence. And I feel like that's really important.
Yes.
That
Yes,
part.
it is. Yes, it is.
That
Can we draw parallels between the delayed freedom in 1865 and the policy delays communities of color still face today?
Who like? So I'm gonna need you to run that back because 1965, I don't think I was
No, I
even a
said
thought. Like,
no.
boy,
Okay. Can we draw parallels between the delayed freedom of 1865 and the policy delays communities of color still face today?
hmm. I'm gonna have to skip that one because I would feel like I would have to do a lot more education, like a lot more studying from the 1865 era.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not that abreast. But I feel like as far as like this delays in our community, I feel like we always have those. Like those not gonna really change because I feel like it's always people that's in place that's always working on some type of agenda to keep something down with us and or keep us distracted in some type of way. Um, but when you gave me the date, it kind of, I ain't gonna lie, through my mindset because I like to be educated or I like to have knowledge on things that I speak on. But I feel like it's always something in place to keep us at a certain level and at a certain point. You know what I mean? And I feel like more than ever, I feel like, it's more things that's pushed to us to keep us low, more so than to raise us. Like, I feel like back in the day, I almost feel, and people can disagree with me, but I almost feel we were more free. You know what I'm saying? When we got freedom back in the day than what we are now. And I feel like we more enslaved than anything now. Because now it's in shoes and fashion. Not saying I wasn't born like really back then like that, but with how I'm growing up and looking at stuff, I see stuff it's like way worse. It's like terrible. Like at least like we had black business owners that was really black business owners. So the community seemed to be a little bit more together. Like I honestly feel like I was born in the wrong generation. Like I feel like I should have been born back.
Well, no, see, I think you actually hit the parallel because those, just so you understand, you actually hit well, as far as my interpretation and understanding, you hit the parallel because the delays are always the delays, or always the delays, always the delays. Is that
Mm,
then,
mm,
as they got the delay, not thinking about time and people evolving, it wasn't
mm,
as strenuous as to the 21st century Jim Crow. So now this
mm,
is why it's much worse than what it was then,
mm,
because now there's
mm,
many, many more people on the face of the earth. There was not many. You have to now struggle in order to get those things that you want, where you have to work 5 times harder. Back then, you
mm,
worked harder, but you didn't have to really work that hard. You just had to find that place or that understanding of being educated as to how to move and shake.
mm,
So those
mm,
parallels are
mm.
still the same. They're
Got
still the
you.
same.
Got you.
So the
Got
delaying
you.
is still going on, but when 2045 rolls around, we're gonna change that.
For sure.
2045,
Got you.
remember that.
2045.
That's
That's
the
the year.
year.
Okay. I'm a watch for it. And I'm gonna contact you offline to make sure I stay abreast
Oh,
on
yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
In the
Mm.
light of Juneteenth, do you believe your leadership carriers, do you believe your leadership carries a burden of historical memory? If so, how?
Oh, for sure. So I feel like, man, I got honored for Black History Month. So I feel like in my community, like I've like definitely for my age range in my community, I think like I may be the first person to make councilman out of like my group of people. You know what I'm saying? Like that grew up around me. Like I feel like I carry a lot of weight. I've accomplished like so much as far as just being a leader, like being very influential and just leading with a cause and leading with a purpose and leading with a good heart. And I put people in a lot of good positions in a lot of good places. And I'm always just being a component of like that peace, being a component of that inspiration. And if you ask anybody to know me, I never stop moving. Like I'm always doing something and I'm always everywhere. So I'm always going to keep inspiring and keep lifting. Like it's not over for me until it's over for
Right.
me.
That's keep that going. Keep that going.
Yeah.
That's the thing that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to hear you say or hear you do, but that's it right there.
Mm.
Don't ever
Yeah.
stop.
It's not over. That's up for me. Yeah, nah.
How does the weight of ancestral struggle influence your daily decision making?
Daily decision making. I just want to honor everybody that came before me in a proper way. You know what I mean? It's like people that really went through like way tougher hardships than we went through. So I'm always trying to, lead and also be like appreciative of this life itself and everything that has come before me. Um, Even, people that's older than me now, like, that put me in position. Like, I have a few mentors that, put me in great positions. And every day that I wake up, I always just want to make them proud. Every day. You know what I mean? Just make them proud. I just want them to I want everybody's work to mean something. You know what I mean? Like they didn't just wake up or they didn't just sacrifice for nothing. Like I feel like anybody that you brush shoulders with in life, period, like that's working to like be behind you, inspiring you, helping you like on a day to day, like you don't want all of their hard work to just go, like voided out. Like you just want to just continuously this work hard and put yourself in positions that people sacrifice for you to be in. So I'm always intentional and I'm trying to make sure that I take every opportunity that I get and make them proud.
So, in your view, what does freedom look like today, and how is it still being negotiated in your community?
I don't know if I see freedom today. Like, I mean, who's free? Be like, no one's free till we all free. Like, I'm like, I don't know what freedom would look like today. Like, God is freedom to me.
Mhm.
So, freedom is searching and finding your God, like the true God, and making sure that you get everlasting life. That's freedom. Freedom is detaching yourself from the world and not being a part of it. Like that's free. Um, and you said something about in my
Yes.
community. What was the question
It
for
was
that one?
just, when I asked him, say, in your view, what does freedom look like today? But
Mm, mm.
how is it still being negotiated in your community?
Um, because in my community, I feel like and this is for world also with community. I feel like freedom is still being negotiated everywhere. Or I just like when you ask me like what does freedom look like, I feel like everybody is falling victim to something that's making them not free. Rather that be drugs, rather that be shopping, rather that be gluttony, rather that be sexual immorality. It can be anything. You know what I mean? So I feel as though like I feel like this government can never set us free. We can set ourselves free.
So, are you thinking about the
So
seven deadly sins when you say that?
yeah, some of which, I just feel like, if anything, I see more people being more enslaved than free. That would only be my perspective, and people can argue it, but I would see more people falling victim to being enslaved by things than being free because they constantly giving us things in an aggressive manner. They giving us phones, they giving us apps, they giving us fashion, they giving us things to look at. Like it's hard to even be faithful because everybody butt naked. You know what I mean? Like it's just always something that they're giving you to keep you distracted. But so I think the system is made to keep you more enslaved than to be free. They only want you to think that you're free.
Well, I wouldn't call that a distraction. I call that control, because all of those
Control,
things, all
control.
those things that you
Like that.
mentioned, those are things that are in control because they're able to spy from the sky above and control and watch each and everything you do. So anytime they feel like they need to make a move, they'd be able to make the move.
They're gonna make that
Mhm.
move. Exactly. They're gonna change the narrative. They're gonna give you something. You know what? When they started saying that all of the food was vegan, I was like, this food ain't vegan. Like, when they was like, when they was sending you everything in the grocery store, they was like, yeah, this 100% vegan. And I was like, why would they ever want to give us something that's good?
Well, you see, now you go into a place where I just did a blog post last week, and
Mm,
I'm actually gonna do a TikTok probably tonight or tomorrow, because I'm telling
mm,
you, people need to wake up and listen and think about what you just said, because I just
mm,
there was like, we're like still in the first 6 months of the year. Do you know how many
mm.
food recalls there have been, including in this last week?
I'm telling you. Look, I woke up this morning. They talking about Kraft cheese wasn't no good. I said,
And
huh?
look, and then,
Every time I turn around, there's something
what
ain't no
about the
good. I'm telling
Cheerios?
you.
Cheerios.
Cheerios ain't no good. Kellogg's ain't no good. But they ain't. But look though, they ain't never say 100% vegan ain't no good or nothing like that. Like it's like they ain't giving us nothing
Yes.
good. Like
And so,
man, look, you got to eat walnuts and water. That's it. You got to survive off of that. That's all you can do. You got to go to the old school. Get you some sunflower seeds and a water. That's all you can do these days.
sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds and call it a day.
That's all you can do.
Many once viewed elected office as inaccessible. How
Mm,
did you break that narrative?
mm, man. So this funny that you say this. You know why? Because I used to tell, I have like a little a team of people that groom me for like counsel, right? I don't like to use the word groom, but like kind of show me the way. Let's say that, right? And I used to tell them like we never knew, like as a kid growing up in the community, like the town hall, we didn't think we can get
Right.
in there. We didn't think we would access that at all. Like we was just like, when I got in there, I'm telling you, it's like you walked into a whole nother world and a whole nother life because we thought we wasn't even accepted in there. Um, so to stay on course with your question, to make sure I still heard your question or whatever, because sometimes I get to talking and I need you to say the question again. But how I can say like um me being able to access this now and people able to see that it was possible, definitely from people being in my community to see it, like it's giving people more understanding that like these arenas actually exist, right? Because I come from areas where we know nothing of it. So now that you become a person that's in this arena, then it makes people want to access more understanding on it. I'm sure it's probably people on here today that's listening that probably know me from other things like music or boxing or things in the community as far as street stuff go or something like that. But for them to see me on these platforms now, it's giving them the understanding to be like, I understand office better. And not only with me just being on a councilman level of things, and I ain't mean to put up like small fingers like it's small, but it probably would make some more people want to go vote. It would make some more people want to pay attention to the presidents that being picked, secretary of states and stuff like that, just because the positions that you was able to access for yourself.
Mhm.
Because I'm telling you, at first, even before like running for council, I didn't even vote. Like I wanted to be so far away from the government, I didn't even want to
Mhm.
vote. You know what I mean? Until I started winning some stuff and I started realizing how much that vote really mattered. I said, oh, no, yard signs and everything. I'm like, man, you gonna go vote or what you gonna do? You know what I mean? So now I understand, from the position I'm in, like how important it was to even just cast your vote. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm only getting these places because people are going out actively and voting for me.
Mhm.
So man, listen, I definitely even underestimated this type of office. I would say that. I underestimated just wanting to have the knowledge to know what this office actually does. Like, and even just knowing the importance of going out and saying, like, I'm a person that will vote. I'm a person that wants to put the right people in seats, the right people in places, because when you get the right people in seats and places, then you can change stuff. But when you're young and the seniors telling you stuff, you just you just want everybody to vote, right? So like piggybacking even to what I said before, like this knowledge now that I have as I would say a middle-aged man and a senior had given me this knowledge, I probably wouldn't respect it at first. So now when a youthful person feels that way, guess what I can do
Mhm.
now? I can say, listen, look where I'm at. Like, look what your vote did for me. Like, you like me, right? I'm cool, right? So this is why it's important for you to put more people that you respect and you admire in these places. So some people in the middle,
Mhm.
I don't know if they thought about going back to the youth and grab them and getting them ready for when they become those seniors that have to talk, and we just creating a better cycle for ourselves.
Well, see, that's the purpose of us building our communities for that very purpose,
For
is to keep
sure.
that cycle going of that leadership on a continuum. Because as we do that,
Hmm.
they're always going to be ready because we got that tribe right there in the community that we're building. We ain't got to worry about all that
There you go.
outside. We're building the tribe right here. That's important.
Right here. Right
And
here.
so, what are some of those
Yep.
things that you have learned now, as you say, that about the position once you got into city council that you did not know that changed and opened your eyes?
Man, it can be something as simple as really just knowing that, like, we handle the tax
Mhm.
dollars. Like, we get raises or we don't. Like, as far as like taxes or we don't. It can be something as simple as, I'm telling you, man, you could be so uneducated, like, oh, we can put speed bumps. Like that's what y'all do here in this office. Like you put speed bumps on the ground. So like this is what we do here. Like never knew that. It's like when you're not educated, when you're unknowledgeable, like you don't know who do these
Mhm.
things. So it's very important that like when people like me get these positions, we able to really see who's putting in the hard work for your community, right? And then like these council members, they only getting stipends for the work that they doing. It's not like they getting paid billions and billions of dollars to really sacrifice all of their time to make sure that your community is a better
Mhm.
place. So I can guarantee you that most people would say if you would have a regular conversation with a person and you'd be like, yeah, so who you think put these sidewalks in your community, or who you think did these speed bumps, or who you think fixed this, or who you think cleans up the trash around your way, like what I mean, like who you think doing these things. We don't know because we only live in the community, like, right, but we not present in it, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
We just go out when we leave out of our houses. We don't know who's doing nothing. It's not like the old days where everybody was so connected in their community. They knew who this person was. They knew who Reverend Fry was down the street. Like everybody knew who someone is. Like again, like we are becoming so disconnected that we missing the small little knowledgeable things. And then also we are all in survival mode. And when we all in survival mode, it's hard for us to teach while we constantly just trying to survive. So you miss the small things that may be something that you can add into the community that will help somebody not have to survive as much as you feel like you have to. So like I feel like it's this small juice or small information that's being lacked as we're growing as a people. You know what I mean? That I feel like needs to be reiterated in our community so we can start to build more strong communities. We can strengthen our communities. We can strengthen our people. I feel like it's those small little key fundamental elements that you need to have. Because again, I'm telling you, what I got in office 876 5 about 35 or 34 years old. Like, and you mean to tell me at that big old age, I don't know who do the speed bumps? Like, Like you mean to tell me I don't know that these people right here in this town hall was raising or lowering taxes? Like I don't know who's doing this community day. I just know that this says Glen Arden is doing a community day, but I don't know exactly the mechanics. Just like we don't know the mechanics, right? So it's like at this big old age, it's like you will start to realize, and I'm telling you, some of us are going through so many learning curves and moments right now. You think like at this big old age, I don't know nothing. Like you like really know nothing. You know what I mean? So like, and I know you didn't ask me this, but like another thing I want to do with my position is be a person that can educate. But it's like the hardship that I have, and I'm sure this question was probably coming, but the hardship I have is getting people to actually listen, to actually care. Cause I'm telling you, like, I got friends and people that I be around, I don't think they care about nothing I do. Like, you know what I mean? Like they'd be like, good job, homie, but that's as much as I'm about to get. You know what I'm saying? And if I ask if I can get your help, then they'll come help. But ain't nobody like, hey, seeing you haven't, you want me to come help? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really think that it's personal all the time. I don't think that it's like people just don't want to do, but I think everybody just trying to survive and they keeping it scrambling like that to the point that nobody can sit for a second, be focused and be intentional and be inspirational because they keeping us, you know what I mean? They paying you less. They telling you work 9 to 5. They asking you, could you do overtime? They know you. They play you this little bit, so they know you're gonna take them extra 3 hours. Yeah, I go ahead and stay. I ain't tired today. You know what I mean? Like, but you're not getting no time to really focus on oneself or focus on, just being, intentional or just adding value to the places that you in. Because most people, I guarantee you, most people probably don't even ask themselves the question, like, do I really add value?
Mhm.
Like, I know I live
Mhm.
right, but do I add value? Like in my relationship, do I add value? With my brother, do I add value? With my sister, do I add value? With my community, with my workplace, say, hell, we spend all our time at our workplace. Do you add value?
Mhm.
Or are you finding yourself in a situation where you just surviving in your workplace because you just don't want to be there, so you just doing what you got to do because you got to survive at home paying your rent?
Mhm.
So how can we become a better community where we can be more influential or we can be more intentional with each other, that we help all of us get to a better place?
I want you to think about this and just think about what I say before you respond. When you mentioned those distractions, the distractions are the things that keep, well, some people think of them as distractions, But those are the things that keep a lot of people like just squirrelish all the time. But when you're in survival mode, as you mentioned, because now you have to be in survival mode more than ever. When you're in survival mode, you have tunnel vision. So when you have tunnel vision, this is all you see. And so if you got that going on, you're not seeing this, your peripheral vision is gone. Because you're only thinking about one thing. I got to live today, I got to live tomorrow, and the next day, the next day, and the next day. So what that gets to is if you learn anything about just the essentials of living life, just the essentials. If you know just the essentials of living life, you can be in survival mode and not have tunnel vision. Because as long as you have planned and you have stored, then you should be able to keep moving. If you have not planned and stored, then all you're doing is this. So you're never going to see everything. So how do we get our people to learn that focus?
Look, I feel like I'm even in survival mode, right? Like, but I learned that focus by, I mean, I would say just choosing what it is that you really want for life and making sure that you stay centered in that, right? Like, just because you have your rent due, or just because you work at the job that you don't like, sit down with yourself and identify who you are. Sit down with yourself and identify what your skill set is. Identify what you want to be. And when I say skill set, I don't mean skill set that you just offer a workplace. Like, I'm a great supervisor. I got great leadership qualities. Like, I open the catch up better than everybody. I know how to, like, no, we're not talking about it. Like, we talking about sitting down with yourself and think about your value. Think about your true, like, what moves your heart, what moves you, and still have your survival mode going. Like, you were swerving like this, still have your swerve going, but just still make sure that you make some time to do it, what it is that you really want to do. I don't care if you want to go to the NBA and you 55, like, keep playing till you go play for Ice Cube in the Big Three or something. Like, I don't care what you want to do. Like, but at the end of the day, it's like, make sure that you allocate the time to stay as grounded towards what you want to go to. And you might not have 30 minutes, an hour a day, but build on that, right? Just start somewhere. Like, it can't just always be I'm working for the world and when I die, it's just that's it for me. Like, it has to be like I'm making a sound effort every day. I'm gonna start with 5 minutes today and get 5 minutes to, like, I'm just gonna say I like say you like to paint. Today, like, I may not be able to actually paint anything, right? But I can go buy my materials today. I got 5 minutes on the way home. I'm gonna start by at least buying the materials. I don't care if you gotta leave them bunched up in your living room and never touch them for the next week. You started. You get what I'm saying? Like, then the next day I have to go get my paintbrushes. But you can see yourself working towards what yourself is supposed to be, vice versa, just leaving yourself in survival mode and having tunnel vision. And I believe that the more that people make themselves happy, and the more that people find their happiness, then they're able to give more happiness. They're able to be of a more of assistance to each other. I just feel like most people aren't happy, or they're in survival mode, like you said, like, or like we said, per se. I ain't gonna put all the blame on you, just in case you get some bad comments under the thing. They be like, "Yeah, talking about everybody." So I was just playing, but they be like, "Mr. King said that," like, but I just feel like sitting yourself down and being grounded and just putting attention to what you want to do daily, and I mean daily, like, just something. You know what I mean? I don't care if after you bought your easels and your paintbrushes that you just aligned them on your table and then you went to bed. You did something. You did something. Don't condition yourself to be going the opposite way. Condition yourself to be going to the way of, that of the way of production.
I'm going to give you a scenario, and I want you to tell me, if you was in this situation, tell me what decision would you make. Okay. You're employed and you're being paid $100,000 a year salary. You decide that you're not really happy doing that and you just want to go do something else. Do you quit that job or do you stay?
All right. So can I ask you a question? What's your
Uh-huh.
question? Do I have a family? Do I have a wife? Do I have kids? Because that'll make the decision tricky.
Well, I mean, not
Because
children, not children, but I mean, there is another person that's there.
so it's another
Yes.
income. Yes.
Does it matter what that income
Yeah.
is?
If it's my passion, no. Oh, you talk about doesn't matter as the income as the
Yes,
person that's in the
yes.
home. Well, man, I just really feel like I was being realistic, right? So, like, being realistic, like I can't let my house just suffer. I can't let my house go underwater. But what I would per se do in a situation like that is well, you asked me a straight question. So my straight question would be like, nah, depending on my house state. But if I can pivot and find something that may allow me to work part-time, so half of that, because I'm not moved by money. So like money is not my thing. So 100,000, it can be $100. I don't care. But the thing is, I would probably try to pivot to something that can allow me some part-time work so I can still help out my wife inside the house or still make sure things are maintained while I put the other, the other part-time into my
Mhm.
passion. So I would have to have some type of net there. Like that's just me, right? I would just have to have some type of ground there so I can continuously keep up with what I have started and created with my family. But then also I would be pivoting into doing what I need to do, to get out of that working field altogether. In a sense, I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to pivot all the way into my purpose.
Mhm.
So,
Actually, I did that.
oh, you did
Yes.
that? It worked out for
Well,
you?
I mean, I bet on me.
Okay. I was just about to say
I bet
congratulations.
on
Like,
me.
definitely got a better. Yeah, that's a story. That's a
I bet
story
on me
right there.
because that's going to be a part of my autobiography. But I'm saying that to say is that a lot of people, especially when they say, "Oh, you're making that kind of money," like, no, I can't give
Mhm.
that up.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think like that
Most
though.
y'all
Yeah,
people
no,
that think like
I'm
that.
not. Nah, I'm not moved by money at all. Like, I ain't gonna be like, "Woo, I'm making so and so." Nah, I ain't cool by that. Like, because to me, if it's not things that's geared to my heart, I ain't really making nothing. I'm making stress for myself, but
Exactly.
I ain't really. I'm not making nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making a difference either. Like, all I'm doing is making a dollar that can just be burnt fast. Like, not making
Right.
nothing. So, but congratulations to you, man.
You
Good that
know,
you did that.
bureaucracy.
So you
Go ahead.
you pivoted from your job and started your podcast, or like, what's your passion? I'm sorry, I'm becoming an
Well,
interviewer
no,
now.
because I mean,
Let me
I'm
make.
always,
Let me.
that is professionally as well as, from the educational perspective, I've always done accounting,
Mhm.
bookkeeping. And
Okay.
so
Right.
I still do accounting, bookkeeping, taxes,
Mm.
consult, podcast,
Okay.
author, and blog. I do all
There
those
you go.
things. And it
Nice.
makes me
Nice.
happy.
But you much happier. There you go. Much happier.
Yes.
Much happier. See, and that's why now you need to interview yourself. You need to find. Some people need that, like, because like you said, it's a lot of people that may be scared to take that leap. Like, that's a big leap to a lot of people to
Mhm.
take. Like, you may have to take yourself asking questions, and then on the other side, take yourself again answering them. Like, if you look crazy, it's cool. They get the
Okay.
message.
No, I think they say, okay, there goes Sybil.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Uh, um,
Yeah.
but do you ever feel you're continuing the work that was paused or redirected after emancipation?
Yes, yes, definitely. Sometimes, yes. I feel like even when I'm gone, somebody will be continuing to work because I just feel like work is never
Right.
done. Yeah, like definitely, man. Like definitely, this wanting to keep bringing our people together. Definitely wanting to keep educating us and healing us, and definitely wanting us to have better for ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the whole thing. Is that everybody just wanted us to they wanted us to be free and have equality. have equal opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, and to move as one. Like, so I feel like I'm forever trying to push that agenda.
How would you compare the optimism and expectations of your first term with the stakes of today?
The optimism. When you say stakes of today, you just mean on what's going on in the world, or would you say the stakes of today, like how would I compare my first term to what I want to do with my
The
second?
stakes of what's happening today.
All right, so run that question by me again.
How would you compare the optimism and expectations of your first term with the stakes of today?
Cause I'm not really too sure, man. Cause like when I came in a little unknowledgeable, right? So everything for me was more of a learning curve. So like I was kind of getting my feet planted and grounded. I've been blessed enough to have some great people around me to give me some great wisdom as I move forward, So my expectations that I had, like, and this is just give you some insight, like it was just like mainly just unifying and finding ways to bring people more so together. As far as today, like I feel like people are more apart. You know what I mean? So I feel like, my stakes in my first term is always still to be together. Like, you know what I mean, in every facet that you can see that in. Um yeah, but like coming in, it was a big learning curve. Like whole first year, whole second year, a lot of learning, a lot of learning, a lot of learning, a lot of learning. And if I'm being honest with you, I asked you about the second term thing because I only feel solidified now. Even though I accomplished a lot in the first one, but right now I feel like I got it. So when you was looking at me, you was like, "Yeah, man, it seemed like you had it." Like other people in my first time term may feel like, "Oh, yeah, you got it," but right now it's like I know I got it. Like you know what I mean? Like I know I got it from everything that I learned and how I was. So from the states of today, I would say that I always feel like we divided, and I never feel like we centered, and I never feel like more people feel more alone than anything these days. So um yeah, so that's my answer, I
Yeah,
guess.
well, you got to think about it. The first term, you went back through high school and you graduated.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that part.
graduated.
That
So
part.
now you're in the next league. So now you don't have to worry about that. Your feet have already been wet. I mean, you've already stood in
Mhm,
all the other stuff, and so now it's like
mhm,
you got it and you're moving forward. Because
mhm,
this is
mhm,
where now you've got the bull by the horns. And so you can walk and
mhm,
you just drag the bull. Come on here. Because you got
mhm.
this.
Sure,
So
for
it's
sure.
like you don't have to worry about none of that other stuff because you've seen what you needed to see in that first term. This
Mhm.
second term, now it's all about your action.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. And it's funny you say that because that is kind of like exactly what it is. Because you situated now. It's
mhm,
like you know everything. Like you straight. Like not everything,
right.
right? That's a crazy word to use. And after that's a crazy word to use after you say no. But like I know quite a bit. So with me knowing it quite a bit now, and it's like, yeah, well, my second term, I'm just ready to rock and roll. Like I've even told colleagues and stuff, I was like, yeah, like this year, I'm gonna turn it up on y'all for like the next 4 years. I'm gonna turn it up big time. But I feel solidified in myself in a lot of different ways, though. You know what I mean? So, and I think my confidence level is just really high at the
Mhm.
moment. And like next year, I turn 40. Like I'm young, but next year I turn 40. So, and I know you just said like man, look, I've been
Okay.
40 years ago.
Ooh, I remember
I
our
can tell like
story. Oh my God.
you are 40, boy, I've been 40 years ago. Like, yeah. But this is my opportunity. I feel like that's my success year. That's the year that I solidify myself and I just feel God moving in a real serious way in my life. And I feel like, I'm just ready.
Mhm.
I'm just ready. And
So, how do you honor Black resistance and resilience in the policies you pursue?
Black resistance and resilience. I would think of that from more of a freedom stance, right?
Well, I mean,
Keeping the people,
just
keeping the
when you
people.
think about it, I mean, and just think about your constituents. You've got a lot of resilience, and then you got a little bit of this resistance. So you got it going on both
Mhm.
sides. So if you got it going on
Mhm.
both sides, how do you honor it?
Man, the best way I will honor that is just actually figuring out what it is that the people need and that they want in the community, and make sure that it's still thriving and moving in a way where you because it's like this, and I'm in my community per se, right? I can tell you this for sure. People are used to things being a certain type of way,
Yeah.
right? So I guess that would be your
Mhm.
resistance, right? Because they expect things to still go the same way. And the resilience in it to me would be allowing them to see that things can change and also be better, right? So to find that middle ground is I feel like you would have to find a middle ground, period, right? So you have to find ways to keep these people comfortable. That's like this is still this.
Mhm.
There you go. But we can still move forward and be more so like this
Mhm.
as well. So I feel like you would have to service the needs of both and just bring it in between. Like you said, I saw your hands go
Yes.
like this. So
You got to bring them together, like you
yeah,
said.
there you go.
Bring them together.
Mhm. Sir.
If Juneteenth is about celebration and reflection, what do you personally reflect on as a public servant?
The whole 4 years. Like, I mean, for myself, the whole 4 years, man. I personally reflect on just like the smiles that I've got from the events that I've done, like from the people that you touch, from just having a warm embrace, like from the legislation that you passed that affect and help the people, from my son holding the Bible when I'm getting sworn in, my daughter held the Bible the second time, like when I just got sworn again. Like I just feel like every moment of this tenure has been a reflection period for myself. Even the bad ones, even the ones that seem like, that made you feel a little inadequate, or maybe even the moments where you feel like you may have felt people a little bit because maybe you may have not voted or a way that a citizen may have wanted you to. I just feel as though like, man, my whole tenure has been that.
Mm, really?
Yeah, every moment I just appreciate every second. Every second.
So let's transition over to past versus present governance. How would your younger self view the leader you've become?
I would think the leader I become is cool. My younger self would be like, okay, you stand authentic. I'm still giving them something that they can relate
Mhm,
to. You know what I mean? 'Cause even like I just told you, I'm turning 40. A lot of people don't even think that I'm that old,
mhm.
even though you think that that's that young. But like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't think that's that old. So I think that I still manage to stay, like to keep an ear close to the youth. So I think that my younger self probably would look at my older self and want to be him still.
Oh wow, that's now that's powerful because that right there says that you're comfortable within yourself. You're happy with you.
Mhm.
You're happy with being you, and everything about you is just you.
Yeah, man, I'm 100% comfortable with myself at this point in life for sure. Definitely.
Has community engagement changed since your first term? If so, how?
Yes, because I feel as though like I do a lot of the events. Like I feel like community engagement has definitely changed because like it's always something being added that's constantly keeping the events going in the community since I've been in it. Not saying that they didn't do any events at all. I'm not saying that at all, but I would say like being responsible for making sure that the city is actively moving in events and having stuff to do. I would say that an engagement changed a lot because now we're getting more people to come out, and I would say each event that's being thrown, we're seeing it pick up even more and even more and even more, you know? Oh yeah.
So, what lessons from civil rights movements guide your approach to modern citizenship, to modern city challenges? Let me say that again. Let me
Um
say that.
yeah, because my answer was about to say having a strong voice, being a thorough leader. Cause what I've saw back in the day as far as leadership goes, they was very stern and and they spoke with great,
Authority.
like they with authority. Yeah, they spoke with great authority. Yeah, and sometimes I'm relaxed and I'm reserved, but I think that I have a way to be able to say things at a chill pocket and still have as much meaning as a person that may have screamed it or may have said it a little louder. So I just feel like being purposeful and powerful is is what you still have to remain banned today as a leader.
Are there any laws or ordinance today that echo injustices of the post-slavery era?
Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna have to think on that one. I'm gonna say pass, because that's that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that
Okay.
one. But I'm just sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to
Okay.
pass, because I would have to think deeper, really, really deep.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I understand.
You
I
can
understand.
give me the game. You can give me the game.
No. See, there are several laws and ordinances, that
Yeah.
echo injustices. So we'll pass on that.
So but one thing I do want to say, like, is that, so me and Councilman Herring that I was talking about earlier today, we do an expungement. So if I'm just gonna speak on one, it's gonna be like the gun laws,
Mhm.
right? Because some of the gun laws that we have, like, we do expungements, right? I'm thinking we did 3 so far. We have, like, maybe did 3 working with the state's attorney's office, but you still unable to get a gun off. Like, and I know, like, a friend of mine that caught like a gun charge when he was like 16 or 18 years old, and it's still following him, and he close to 40. So to me, that's a big injustice to people, because it's still on their record as they trying to move forward. And I feel as though, like some guys have made, they got families, they changed themselves, is over 20 years old. It's like, it should be like a criteria, like a number on, like, okay, it's past 10 years, it's past 5 years, and you didn't do anything with it. I think, like, it should also be like the intent. You just found it on the person. It ain't, you ain't find them shooting it. You ain't find anything else other than just finding it on a person. So it's kind of like you still holding these things that happen to people when they were very, very much so younger, that's hindering them as they trying to move forward in their careers and they growing. Um, so that's why, we put on the board to do like expungements, like, because it's just like a lot of things that's attached to guys that's on their records that's not coming off their records, or things that's being stuck on dudes' records that's stopping them from being able to have equal opportunities. And they getting turned down for jobs just by having certain things just on their record. They just like,
That's why
nah.
they say run your background.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
like the credit bureau. That's why they run your
Mhm.
credit.
Yeah. So that's why I say I just needed my mind to
Yeah.
open up,
So
like, a little. I was like, boom. And then I got the punishment fair shirt on too at that, and that's the crazy
okay.
part, that I got the shirt.
Oh
You
man,
see
I
this?
like that.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
Expungement Fair 2025.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's just like, they stick things on your credit erroneously at the credit bureau, and it takes you years before you can get that crap off. But it's still
Mhm.
affecting you.
Mhm. 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 Yeah.
So
A lot of things. Mhm.
how do you ensure that history doesn't just repeat, but that progress becomes permanent?
That's a tough one. Because they always say history repeats itself, but I feel like some history should repeat the good one, the good history. Like, it's some good history that needs to carry on with us. But I try to make sure that we can prevent, like, the negative history repeating itself, right? So, like, if I'm in my community, for instance, right, let's just go back to the expungement. If I'm giving guys the opportunity to have jobs, I'm giving guys the opportunity not to have to go out and commit the same crimes that they committed before. So to making sure that their history, becomes permanent, is by wiping things off their record to allow them to be somebody new moving forward. So by me just stepping in these arenas and stepping in these places where it's hindering or stopping people's growth, is how I think that we can make things become more permanent, and the good history should carry on. Like, I would like to carry on. I would like to stay good as I can, so I can carry on, in history, what I'm saying, if somebody good moving forward. And I think certain things like that should be still heard and presented moving forward. But I also want to be in place to, make the true change that the history that can be permanent can be more positive role models and influences going forward.
Well, see, that sounds like I was having a conversation the other day with an individual, and in speaking in those terms, is that I actually was a guest on the show, and I asked a question, because I mean, a really great show just like this one, and I asked a question. I'm like, so if we had like like the Department of Education, how it's now hanging on by a lifeline because they want to destroy it because they want to make sure that we don't learn history. But we still have to learn the Holocaust. So it's hanging by this thread. Okay.
Mhm.
So in knowing that, and I'll ask you the same question. What makes,
Mhm.
why would it be impossible, or why should we not just get our people together to create a whole new system to make that system work? But those people that are a part of the system that's actually tried to, what do you want to call it, move us out of the way in all of these different ways and so forth, those are the bad apples that want to get in with the good ones that are only going to spoil the bunch again. So should they be allowed in or should they not?
I don't believe that they should.
Mm.
It's funny that you say that about the system too, because I was thinking about that as something as small as the NBA. Like as far as the NBA, it's like why we still got to go to the same National Basketball Association for people to like if you got people like LeBron, you got people like Jordan and Pippen and all them, why they ain't get together and start their own basketball association where they put different criteria around the people that make it out? Like why we always got to go to the same thing repeatedly over and over and over again? You got enough money to do like Ice Cube did and have a big league,
That's the
big three.
slave
So
mentality.
this because yeah, so just because some of the students may be good ball players or they may have different circumstances that they can't keep this high percentage, or they may not ball at the level that these people go that goes to the NBA association, the National Basketball Association per se. But you know, why we can't create something to grab up the other kids so they won't convert
Mhm.
back and don't repeat that negative cycle of history, like why we can't create. So I agree with you. I feel the same way.
Yeah. But see, that also means that egos have to go out the door.
But again, very much so.
Because you get
Yeah.
some folks talking, oh no, we gotta do it this way. We gotta do it this way. We gonna do this my way. We gonna do this my way. You know,
Yeah.
see, them folk, I mean, it's like, yeah, that reminds me, and I'm sure that you'll understand when I say this, reminds me of Stephen, Django.
Oh, Django.
Django, remember Stephen? Samuel Jackson, he played Stephen in
Yeah,
Django.
yeah. He was the Uncle Tom in there,
Yes,
right?
he was.
Oh
But
no.
Stephen always, it was about him where it could be about nobody else because he only wanted the security for him.
Okay. I don't you hipping me because I don't quite remember the movie all the way, but I know that he was like an Uncle Tom in the movie. So he only wanted the security for himself.
Security
He
for
ain't want
himself. Anybody else came up to that door, Stephen wasn't letting you in.
got you. Okay,
That's a good
understood.
white man. Look, yeah,
Great.
I know now. I want to make sure before we keep going here. Look, I don't want to take too much of your time because I don't know if you've got anything else going, but because I didn't get a chance to. That's this section, but I still haven't got a chance to get to, Black History. Do you have a few minutes to keep going with the Black History part, or do you need to cut the interview?
Um, you said with the Black History parts, you got some questions
Yeah,
about Black
yeah,
History?
about the influences.
Oh, let's roll. Let's roll. Yeah, I gotta highlight my people. Let's
Okay.
roll. Yeah, I got a few.
So, in asking you about the most influential people in your life and your career in Black history, you said Malcolm X, Bob Marley, Fred Hampton, and Harriet Tubman were those persons.
Mhm.
So, under the influence of Malcolm X, in what specific ways has Malcolm X's philosophy on self determination and empowerment influenced your political beliefs and actions as a councilman?
So what I love about him in a general sense is that he's very fearless and he lives in his own mind. And he believes in aggressive action. Like he agrees he believes in like moving forward and by any means, like you know what I mean, he has this any means like motto about himself, and he's very affirm, like he's very firm when he speaks and when he delivers. So what I like about him is he's not a pushover.
Right.
So in my seat, it makes me feel and like more capable to not be a pushover, but also still be a strong leader. Because sometimes being a leader means that sometimes you feel as though you get abused and bruised and pushed over a lot. But with him, he's like, no, like nobody's just storming the castle and it's gonna be okay. Like we're gonna have to deliver it the same way that it comes in. So it's kind of like we war with those who war with us. So and it's like that's what I appreciate really when it comes to Malcolm.
So the inspiration from Bob Marley. Bob Marley's music often carries messages of resistance and hope. How
Mhm.
have his lyrics and life stories shaped your perspective on cultural expression and activism in your community?
All right, let's go and let's break down Bob. Let's get into Bob. So, see, I'm a musician myself,
Hmm.
and Bob Marley's birthday is actually a day after mine. I'm February 5th, and his is February 6th.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
we both are Aquarius. And I believe like love and peace is something that really like both of our emotions are. Because even though we can be aggressive, like per se a Malcolm, really we just want to see harmony. We just believe in harmony. We just believe in peace, love, and centering all people. Um,
Mhm.
that's where Bob enters my life. You know what I mean? Because I know at my truest form and my truest state, it's just all about love.
And Fred Hampton's legacy. Fred Hampton was a strong advocate for community organization and social change. How do you see his contributions reflected in your initiatives or policies in local governance?
Okay. So with each person, I'm kind of just gonna keep character description them down if that's okay.
Okay.
'Cause I know why I kind of like picked all of these people that I like. Fred
Hmm.
Hampton, man. Well, remember we said purposeful and powerful.
Yes.
Fred Hampton, purposeful,
Yes.
but not only that, he still also had the same. And I'm gonna keep bouncing back to the ones I said before. He still had the same love like Bob Marley did because he's still unified. Even
Yep.
though he was Black Power, he's still unified. He still went to other places and he found peace. He found ways to merge and ways to find peace. You know
Right.
what I mean? But at the same time, he was like Malcolm because he was still firm. He
Hmm.
still firm no matter what. Um, so what I like about Fred Hampton is that he was purposeful, he was powerful. I feel like I'm very purposeful and I'm very powerful, but I'm also feel like that, but it's still all love and peace and unity if I can find that. But I also feel like that, like I stand on what I stand on, I believe in what I believe, and I'm gonna move forward on that.
Hmm.
Fred Hampton.
Okay. And lessons from Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman exhibited extraordinary courage in the fight for freedom. How does her legacy of resilience inspire you in facing the challenges of public service?
Harriet Tubman just breaking the mold. Just not settling, breaking the mold, finding a way. I feel like
Hmm.
as a councilman, as a leader, you find a way. She found a way.
Hmm.
And the goal should be to free the minds of all. You know what I mean? She freed them in a more physical sense, but it's freeing the minds of all people. Like, because there's a lot of people that's enslaved mentally and stuff. Or more people are enslaved by certain things. So just being that leader that's willing to break the mold, willing to find forward motion, get to a point, and then free us all from something, whatever that may be. It's all different for everyone. You know what I mean? You got to meet people where they are. So sometimes with people freeing somebody, it's always going to look different. Um, but that's Harriet Tubman for me.
Okay.
I'm always looking for a way and never laying down, never settling.
So, interconnectedness of influences. How do you view the interconnectedness of the messages and legacies of Malcolm X, Bob Marley, Fred Hampton, and Harriet Tubman in the context of Black history?
That they all was purposeful, powerful, forward motion moving, driven. They had heart, love, and a zeal for uplifting the community. And I feel like everything that they encompass and embody is everything that I encompass and embody with what I do for my community and what I do for my seat. And sometimes you got to do them in aggressive ways, and sometimes you got to do them in more peaceful ways. And I feel like with all of those people, interconnecting those people, it's a perfect harmony and balance on perfect aggression, peace, love, stewardship, and also voice. You know what I mean? Because they all had a voice, like you know what I mean. But again, like some of the most powerful voices when you talk Malcolm X and you talk Fred, definitely Fred Hampton. I
Mhm.
just love Fred Hampton as a speaker. His dedication is power. You know what I'm saying? And Bob Marley as a musician spreading the love and the peace. So to me, I feel like I embody all of those people within this one seat. And those are why I chose those as my most influential figures in history.
Before we get to this closing part, that when you get to tell people some things, I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell. I want you to answer this question for me if you know this or if you have an opinion.
Okay.
Can you tell me why is it that people in our community are thinking that the Black Panther Party was a militia and that they were like these people that was out killing people? Where do you think they got that from?
I would say they got that more so. If you heard anything like that, you just not knowledgeable, or you might have got that from the governments. Like somebody pushed it to you, like like white supremacists must have moved that agenda, but that was nowhere near what the agenda was. It wasn't about murder and mayhem.
So it's all about community, and I try to tell people that, but a lot of people still don't believe that.
Yeah, I think sometimes our community is so structured to think that everything is a gang, and they don't understand what a movement is. If you don't understand what a movement is, you would just relate it as being a gang.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You see everybody in black, you just gonna think they just got guns and they come to cause chaos. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, but who knows that narrative, you know? But so at this sense, do they feel like a football team is about to kill people just because they all uniformed?
See, that would be the same premise. That would be the same premise because that's a gang.
That's a gang. You know,
Yeah.
they all together, they uniformed. They coming out and running people over.
Yep.
All we doing is speaking.
Yep.
So,
So in closing, what are some words of encouragement, words of wisdom you'd like to leave with our audience, including how to follow you on social media, how to connect with you on social media, how to go to your website? What are some of the things you'd like for the audience to know?
I say, man, keep God center, keep God, the true God, at number one, and anything that you do. And I would say, like, never give up on yourself either, man. Like, never think that you're not enough. Never think that you can't change. Never think that it's too late. You know what I mean? And take a minute every day to do something for yourself. And when I mean something for yourself, I don't mean something like just go get your nails done or, just go to the gym and do some bench pressing. I mean, actually find yourself within your day. Like, centering yourself. I'm not going to say yoga. That's not what we're talking about, but like, just sit with yourself and think about where you want to see yourself, like, and try to identify like who you are. And then, as I heard Nipsey Hussle say before, like, define who you are and live and die by that. So it's kind of like pick and choose who you are, figure out who you are, and then once you figure out who you are, make a sound effort every day to become that. And I feel like the more that you get closer to, of course, your God, and the more that you get closer to yourself, then you will start to be able to create a happier life for yourself. Like at some point, I'm sure you had to go to work and say, like, look, no, this not it. Like you had to sit with yourself and realize, like, this is not what I want to do. Like, this is not who I want to be. And you had to determine who that was for yourself. And then you
Mhm.
went to work that day and said, I'm done. You know what I
Got
mean?
that right.
You know what I mean? And you
Got
said,
that right.
so some people got to tell their own, that some people got to look in the mirror and tell their old self that I'm done. If
Mhm.
that's feel like that's a powerful statement in itself. You look at your old self in the mirror and you just say I'm done, and make a solid effort to become the best version of yourself after that. As far as social media go, man, it's all Reese the Realist. That's ReeseDaRealist. Everything that you can find me on Facebook is Reese Hairston, but on Twitter and on Instagram, you can find me at Reese the Realist on social media. The website is teamrdr.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm a councilman for the city of Glenarden. I'm a musician. I'm a boxer. Um, and I'm a personal trainer. I try to wear all hats. And thank you for having me too. I'm gonna definitely, leave off with saying thank you for having me, man. Thank you definitely for reaching out. We had some strong conversations over the phone. I knew this was gonna be a powerful interview, and I would say thank you for challenging my thought process because I've done interviews and I'm not talking bad on nobody, but these were some really, really important questions, and um, I love an opportunity to be able to stand in the light where I'm able to answer things that actually have more meaning. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes I'm not always feeling charged up or plugged up, but for you to ask questions that make me stop for a second, I really enjoyed that, because it's kind of like you just challenged a whole different portion of my mind. So now it's kind of like, now when I go out, you kind of like activated thoughts in my mind that's going to help me go ahead and start to activate in a different way, because now you just push things out of my spirit that may have been trapped because I haven't been asked them yet. So now you help me release things that I know will make me be more a success in my career and more success as a person moving forward. So I definitely appreciate that. Like, you had some strong content, strong content. It's a very purposeful podcast, like, for real, man. It's some very strong concepts. Like, and you can tell you wise and knowledgeable about the things you talk about. Because some people just have podcasts. Let's be real. You know, pop podcast. You know what I'm saying? They like, yeah, man. First off, what type of lollipops you like? Like, you know, they talk about that. They gonna ask you a bit. Stick a damn lollipop in your mouth. It'd be like, yeah, man, you good? You like the Tootsie Roll one? Like, nah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, to be challenged, you know what I'm saying, in your arena, and be challenged in your field, and to ask questions about things in your field, and also keep, you know, a person so grounded to where they come from. Because a lot of times, you know, when you get out of school, we can't say we always refer back to history unless they making a biopic. You know,
Exactly.
it's like, I want to go to the movie and watch that, but how many times are we brushing up on that knowledge? How many times are we going back thinking about the past and so the present? I'm not saying that none of us do, but, like, you know, I would think that it's rare, because again, we in survival mode and we always thinking about moving forward.
Yes,
So
sir.
I wanted to fill up your glass, man, and just give you some credit, like, you know, show some appreciation. Thank you again.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. And, you know, we definitely got to have you back.
Right.
And so I like to say this to the crowd here on this wonderful Friday evening.
Hey.
I want to thank you all for watching this part 2 episode for the Juneteenth weekend.
Mhm.
As you listen to the councilman has actually filled us all in, not only on the process and the concepts that are used in the beginning that he had to learn in order to be groomed and to grow into his position. He's grown into that position to the point that it got him reelected. So what that should say to each and every individual out there is, one, there's nothing that you cannot do, but if you put your mind to do what it is that you want to do, you can accomplish it and you can be it. What he's also told you is that community is very important. So as for this platform and as for what he does in his community, he's doing his best to not only unify that community, but to make the people, well, to help the people to be what they want to be and how they should be. So when we work together, as what this was tonight, this was more or less like a collaboration. What that collaboration was is that we're doing this together for our communities around, from the broad perspective. Because if we don't work together now to collaborate, to build and do what we have to do, we're not going to get there. We can't get there individually, just as the councilman said. If you're separate and you're trying to grow, you're not going to grow together. But if you're together when you're planted, then you grow together. That's what we're doing. That's the key.
There we go.
So as you all get this wonderful lesson tonight, I want you to remember, for those of you that are in the councilman's district, you need to make sure that your support is what it is, because it has been there, but we need to go a little bit above and beyond, because we want to send that message of there is unification. This is also a message that we need to send around this country, because we do have unification. And again, together, as we go strong, we're powerful. But if we're divided, we will fall. So let's just think about that. And as you're going through the weekend, just remember, we are who we are. That cannot be changed. So be proud of who you are, because I can tell you that I am. So I want to thank you all for joining us for this wonderful week. And join us again next week as we have another great group of shows, you know, here on America in Black and White, where we're coloring these conversations on America's canvas. Because as we color these conversations, they're not stained. What they are, they're permanent imprints. And we're here for permanency, not temporarily.
There you go.
Y'all have a wonderful weekend. We will see you guys next week, and enjoy yourself. Thank you again, Councilman. We'll see you when you come back. And I'll definitely be hitting you